robust urban garlic flavor.
Welcome home. But I don't remember if we saw the T-Rex. There is a T-Rex animation, and it is for any super chat below $5 randomly or any gifted sub on Kick randomly.
Wow, we're advertising T-Rex animations now? What is it, Jurassic Park month, Phil? Or is it the basic Streamlabs animation?
Sadly, we had 0 subs earlier today from Kick, 0. So because of that, there was nothing from this Kick side. It would be great to get some subs tonight so we can actually maybe see the animation. That'd be great. Why don't we get started here and get a little bit of contributions? Let's get a big super chat.
Yeah, you see, he doesn't want 10 people giving $5 super chats. He wants one person giving a $25 super chat.
Let's get one tip. We have one tiny tip. Let's get a decent tip. Let's get our first sub of the night. Let's get our first kicks of the night. And let's get a membership. Let's get one of each. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, all you $1 tippers, why are you giving me $1 at a time? I don't care if it accumulates to $5 a week. I want $5 immediately. I'm not gonna work for your money. I'm entitled to it. That is what Phil sounds like.
Maybe, maybe not. I do feel like there are people who legit like me and my content from the casino. But they're not gonna say anything because they don't want people to come after them and be like, how dare you like Phil, and then get attacked by the other idiots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have one Kino Casino fan, Iron Dent Sakai, Phil. That's all. Their audience was bored to tears with you and were begging them to stop covering you.
Is that true? The pinned comment isn't available in certain things. Is that right? You guys can't see it? If that's the case, I'll just say it briefly. So ever since I started doing very well for myself, getting rid of the person who was freezing stream chat a couple weeks ago, having my biggest restreamer on YouTube shut down completely, basically things are going really good, right?
Having my biggest restreamer on YouTube shut down completely.
I've got you now!
DSP?
Hey, put some clothes on!
The truth will be revealed! Woohoo! Right on!
So the trolls hate that. The trolls are very upset.
Phil, this is why people have no respect for you, because just a few days ago, you adamantly denied being directly involved in the banning of Raw Phil. And here you are just casually admitting to being the impetus to the banning of Raw Phil. Even he thinks his TCG card game streams are so long-winded and boring that he just lowers his guard and lets the truth squeal out.
So they're trying to do every possible thing to mess with the streams. This current thing is they keep view botting the stream. Every stream I say, it's not me. I don't want that to happen. It doesn't help me. It's stupid. I don't want it, but I can't stop it. And then they do it anyway. The thing is, it doesn't hurt me either. Like, it doesn't help or hurt me. It has absolutely no effect on the stream. There's no reason to do it, but they're doing it anyway just to be stupid to get people to talk. So the more you talk about it, the more attention they feel like they're getting, they're going to keep doing it. If we just ignore it, it'll go away because these idiots will stop wasting their time and money doing it, see? So everyone just chill out, be quiet about it, don't bring it up, and we're good. All right.
Yeah, Phil, you're just gonna have absurdly high viewership for a while because whoever is doing that, and for whatever their reasons, they seem to be motivated to keep doing it. You know, somebody said something about maybe Phil is doing it to hide the fact that his viewership is not increasing the way he wants it to be. I mean, if you just look at the participants in his chat on the YouTube side, it's not going up. It's still the same handful of people. And it was certainly convenient for him that this happened after he declared that his views were up the first day after getting Raw Phil banned.
Appreciate that a lot. We're at 26 of support. Guys, if you like TCG and the chill vibes of the game, please support the stream right now. Let's go. We need to get to $100 to get our second pack of cards open for tonight, and I know we're going to do it. Pitch Black, the new set. We got 4 hits. We're going to get more hits, better hits, right? We need that Mega Darkrai. So let's get some support tonight to do some pack rips at the end of the stream. What is Kino Casino? Kino Casino is a group of streamers.
It's 2 people, Phil. I wouldn't consider that a group.
Over on Kick exclusively, because they can't stream on YouTube because they were at one point both suspended, banned, or both for pretty heinous stuff that they did, quite frankly. And what they do is drama content.
And Phil was stupid enough to contact them almost 2 years ago because they were doing something on a YouTuber he didn't like, where he got a false bump from them, thought he was going to be on a resurgence or something, and that clearly didn't happen. The only thing it did is it probably kept him relevant because his streams were in the toilet then and the detractors were getting bored. But since then, more detractors have been poking the squealer.
They basically watch other people and literally just make fun of them, but then they go steps further. They make it up. They completely over-exaggerate and extrapolate. Basically, it's a slander show. It's like a toxic slander show, okay?
Like how Phil held court on Wings of Redemption and Low Tier God on April 1st. Yeah, they were the guys that got DSP to call himself king again.
$1 a dozen. A million people do this on the internet, but they get away with a lot more because they stream exclusively on Kick. So they do a lot, say a lot more extreme things like that.
Yeah, if Kick is such a bad place where everybody can get away with anything, why you still streaming on there, Phil? He tried to be like them and he failed miserably because he's boring and Phil. And he 100% thought they were his friends, but they were just using him for content. Like, Phil really wanted to do drama content instead of just playing video games, but his dents weren't having it and he's not entertaining enough to grab more people for a new audience, so he's stuck where he is.
And basically, it's funny to an extent, but they take it way too far, in my opinion.
We know it's your opinion. You're saying it.
And for about half a year, I worked with them because I felt like I needed to branch out and do something different.
Translation: he hates playing video games. He desperately wanted a way out and thought this was a golden opportunity. And the end result is just him being made the fool of, with him getting some additional funds that, were all spent down the drain on WWE champions. They actually got him to admit that he plays WWE champions, but he didn't admit to spending hundreds of thousands of dollars like we know he does.
Then just do my own content. And I knew that they were eventually going to cover me like everyone else does.
No, he absolutely didn't. He was the one who initiated contact with them because they said a few neutral things about him because they were roasting this YouTuber who follows Phil. And Phil thought the enemy of my enemy is my friend, but it turns out that he was walking into a den of vipers. Yeah, and it also led to Phil calling one of them his gaming soulmate. I mean, there were so many better candidates. You have John Rambo, Panda Lee, Cat, but no, Phil had to pick the cesspool peddler.
You know what I mean? Everyone eventually covers me and says, oh, he's a lolcow, and here's this blah, 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 and all the... So I'm just so used to it.
What he wasn't used to was having a friend, so he was gaslit and manipulated into basically admitting that he's a lolcow e-beggar who scammed people for tons of money to play Sweaty Men JPEG mobile games. And he had no on-screen chemistry with Kino Casino because he's Phil and he has no on-screen chemistry with anybody.
So I did a 6-month collab with them. Working with them.
He went on live streams with them.
And did some interesting content. Some of it was pretty good, I would argue.
I'd argue differently because we all know Phil is a wet blanket.
I actually think some of the gameplay we did was fun. Like when we did, what was that thing? Chained Together or whatever that was? That was fun. But the problem was those guys, they do a certain kind of content that I'm not going to be involved in.
Because he sucks at it and he won't get views or tips for it. He only gets tips out of pity. So him being a snarky vulture would not help with his persona of being a panhandling, pathetic man.
Right? I'm not going to do incredibly toxic stuff. I'm not going to go after people constantly.
Hello and welcome to the show. It is time indeed for the DSP morning show here on DSP Gaming. And of course on DSP Gaming Real over on Kick, because if you're watching me on DSP Gaming on YouTube or DSP Gaming Real on Kick, you're watching the source.
If you're watching this anywhere else, you're watching an illegal restream that should be shut down, and the person broadcasting it should be arrested.
I don't know, Phil. Calling for somebody's arrest for terms of service violation sounds like you'd be willing to be a drama content creator. You kind of already are. It's just all about your bills being the drama.
They basically wanted me to start getting into feuds with people constantly. They wanted me to have fabricated feuds, completely fabricated, 100% like fake feuds. For the fact that, they would make good drama content, make money on it. And I didn't want to do any of that. I was like, no, there's stuff we could do from time to time that I think would work, but I don't want to constantly be doing this nonsense that you guys are into. That's not me. I'm not a full-time drama guy. You know what I mean? I'll do it every once in a while. Or you have an idea you want me to be involved in, sure. But for the most part, no, I don't want to just be a drama guy all the time, right? So after that happened, after I worked with them for around on and off 6 months, They basically got upset.
They didn't get upset at all. Phil's just an idiot. They just stopped, like, quarter pretending that they were Phil's friend and started roasting him relentlessly, while before they were just roasting him fairly often, but Phil would just brush it off as ribbing.
Because they felt like, oh, well, we had talked about Phil so much positively or whatever, that they weren't getting enough out of it anymore. That basically they had invested more than they were getting out of it. So then they decided, which they were eventually going to do this anyway.
Yeah, they were wondering how many stupid things they could make him do before he finally had enough and crashed out about it.
They decided that they were going to turn on me and try to get me into stuff that I didn't want to be in or force me into it. Like, literally, no lie. Like, try to fool me into doing stuff very, very underhandedly, or blackmail me into doing it. What they didn't realize is that I had planned for that all along. I knew they were going to do that to begin with.
He didn't plan for anything. He thought he was on a resurgence. He thought the Kino Casino viewers actually liked him.
100%. So I was ready to cut the cord, and I actually cut the cord with them. I kicked one of them off of my wrestling commentary show because we were doing a commentary show together. I kicked him right the fuck off the show, and I blocked him and banned them from all my content. I said, I'm not doing you anymore. And that was the end of that.
What happened is that Phil panicked because they wanted him to do other stuff like outside the Snort Fort, where he would travel down to Florida and go to Hulk Hogan's bar and hang out with them. And he flipped out about that. And then Phil feared that they were going to leak his DMs with them, so he leaked them first. And it made Phil look like a total tool. And then apparently in those DMs, he lied about his wife having cancer.
Now, the thing is, a lot of the viewers who watch me on Kick had started watching me because I was working with the casino. So all of a sudden, overnight, it was like, uh-oh, half the viewership or more on Kick who were there because, you know, the Kino Casino liked me. Now they don't like me anymore because I'm not working with them, and I basically kicked them to the curb.
Those viewers never liked you. If they gave you money, it was because they were told to do so by the casino. As stupid as that sounds, that's what happened. Now they're there to troll you because they have nothing better to do than watch, you know, your content, which is kind of sad.
So what we have is a toxic, ongoing relationship here where these people show up every day and just say insulting things constantly about me. And it's like,
yeah, they've been there for over a year, Phil. They wouldn't be if you weren't feeding them what they wanted every single day. If you stopped feeding the trolls, they would go away. They are still there because they see you as a pathetic train wreck that is there to be mocked and ridiculed.
well, what are you going to do? Like, I guess that was to be expected. And in truth, I get paid for them to be there because I'm in the Kick Partner Program. So it's not the end of the world that they do this.
Yeah, the Kick Trolls have apparently found a way where there's a workaround where they can be in the chat but not give Phil ad revenue because they're not watching the video. How a website would allow that to work, I have no idea, but I guess they're thinking that there isn't going to be a restream somewhere.
But at the same time, it's kind of unfortunate when people want to talk and chat and all they want to do is be normal, and they can't be because you got these toxic people spamming the chat constantly and being okay.
Nobody in the Kick chat wants to be normal or be normal in the Philip Paul Burnell definition. They just want to mock Phil. The majority of the comments are just spamming emotes, particularly the thumbs down Patrick Star emoji to show Phil that the content sucks.
So basically, that's the summary of it. Yeah, there was a lot more individual weird that happened. Are you familiar with the king snake? The animal?
Nope.
You're not?
Nope.
The king snake is a creature, a snake, that lures other snakes into its den. Dangerous snakes, snakes that are known to already be predators, rattlesnakes, and others. The king snake uses this trick in order to make those creatures feel safe. And then the king snake surprises those creatures from behind and swallows them whole. The king snake.
Are you swallowing me, Phil?
Oh, hold on. The king snake eats other predators whole after laying a trap. Okay?
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the briefcase. This is Andy and Ashton's briefcase. Because, ladies and gentlemen, today on this podcast, this is not the Level 1 podcast featuring RTA at all. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Level 666 podcast straight out of
The Snort Fort.
because today, live on the show, it is time to explain to you how over the last 8 months and the last couple of years, all of my planning has finally come to fruition. I robbed Kino Casino. I'm not kidding. I'm
How
not
did you rob?
kidding. Everything that you have seen happen, I swear to God.
Swear to me.
One of them trying to invite me. One of them said he wanted to pay for my trip to fly me to Florida to go to Hulk Hogan's bar and drink with him. I'm married.
Phil, somebody asking to do something for you does not mean they're asking you on a date. What they were gonna do is use it for content. Hey, look, Phil is out of his house. Maybe they were even planning other things like, hey, look, Phil meets his hero, sweaty man Hulk Hogan. Or maybe they were planning to have you talk with your detractors and trolls in person. I don't think they would have gotten anybody you know, but they were looking to make money off of it. They weren't looking to be romantically involved or whatever your twisted brain thinks.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, welcome to Phil's world, where anybody that's contacting you with a message is hitting on him, apparently. Maybe his whales are like that, so Phil just assumes everybody's like that.
It's bizarre behavior. That's just one of many things that was bizarre, okay? So, anyway, that's that. I really don't deal with them anymore. They bring me up a lot.
Gee, I wonder why. It seems like you're easy fodder to target. That's what happens when you typically stream 12 times a week and it's all about you farming pity as you beg for money.
They did 2 holiday specials about me.
If one of them wasn't May 1st, neither of those count. Let's be real.
It's hilarious. They've put more effort into me since I said I'm kicking you to the curb and want nothing to do with you than since we were working together.
Oh, wow. This idiot just does not get it. They were holding back on you. That's why they were putting less effort into you. Once they could go full mask off, when they were going like probably 90% mask off, let's be real, they took it and ran with it. It was all set up. Don't you get that? They build you up, then they tear you down.
You know, maybe if they had clout, maybe if they had any kind of creative ideas in their head, we would have made good content together. But instead, they can't do that. They can't do anything constructive. They only know how to make destructive content. It's only through destroying others that they can be popular.
Phil, you're the same way. You revel when you get to mock somebody. Whether it's your fans, whether it's another content creator, that's when you're having fun. Your whole stream setup is who's gonna be foolish enough to give Darkside Phil some money tonight.
See what I'm saying? So it's toxic, it's negative, it's destructive. I don't want to be that.
If he could get the same amount of money he gets from panhandling to morons, he would absolutely do it. The DMs he leaked about his conversations with them proved it. He goes on and on about how he hates gaming and wants to move on to something else, but he can't do it because he's not entertaining, so he has to go back to gaming because it's a crutch. It's just filler, so he can beg in between.
So that's why we never were going to work. And I knew that because I knew that what we were doing was temporary, on purpose, only to basically get a little bit of attention for me and my channel.
Yeah, no, he had the wool pulled over his eyes until he realized like 2 months in that it was eventually going to happen to him, and he couldn't like throw a fit and leave because it would bring the ire of the Kino dents on him. Well, guess what? The King Snake got their ire regardless.
I knew that basically they were using me and I was using them, and eventually the whole thing would fall apart. 100%. I knew that all along.
No, he knew they were using him. He had no idea how to use them for his benefit. He just got insanely lucky that there was one Kino dent that got introduced to Phil from them that started giving him thousands of dollars on Kick through various sock accounts.
So that's why I'm not upset about the fact that I'm not working with them anymore. I don't care because what I'm doing now is what I want to do. What I was doing with them was just necessary evil, I guess would be the best way to put it.
No, he just stumbled into it like an idiot. He's just still really salty that they are mocking him perpetually instead of praising him, which is what he wants, because he wants his ego fed.
And my longtime fans and followers are very happy that I decided to not become a full-time drama guy, because a lot of them were very afraid of that. They thought that, oh, Phil's just going to do drama all the time. Drama content, toxic content. and he's not going to be able to do gameplay. He's not going to chill with us anymore, right? He's just going to be about drama, insults, and like that. But it didn't turn out that way. In fact, it turned out way better.
Because he added Iron Den Sakai to his whale pile. Yeah, you know, his 5 whales, the only people on the planet that like his gameplay, were just like panicking that DSP was going to become a drama guy, because, you know, that would have been worse. Because then it would just be Phil talking all the time. He tried to go into politics of all things. And he just basically regurgitated what the casino said, and he wondered why the Kino fans didn't like it. It's because you're Phil, and you have nothing entertaining, informative, or interesting to say. This is the guy with the same imagination capacity where he's called a turtle Pokemon. Oh, it must be named Turtle, I think.
Because before I worked with them, I was basically kind of just coasting and not really doing very well. And since then, I'm doing great. I've fully upgraded my whole setup. Right? I've got do awesome streams. I'm constantly implementing new things and stuff in my content, and things are going great.
Yeah, every day he has to tell us that things are going well. That sounds like it's really doing well if he's trying to convince us so hard. He had no idea that Kino Casino was going to send their fans to give him money. He had no idea. He just thought, oh, they're mocking somebody I don't like. I want to dogpile on it. So hopefully I won't look like an idiot. And then he winds up looking like an idiot later on because they pumped his ego up so much that it all came crashing down. And now he's still refusing to admit that he got fooled when we all know he did, which is why he brings it up constantly and crashes out about it.
I mean, even myself, my in the 2 years there, since things got better, I physically improved my diet, my health, working out. Like, everything has just gotten much better as a result of my choice to do that.
Yeah, you lost me, like, at the beginning, but this is where, like, any rational person would be like, yeah, he's just full of it. How does starting working with some drama cesspool peddlers lead to you making healthier choices in your diet? Those things are not together, they're separate. Like, this is his grift, saying that things are better than they were before, yet 15 minutes after this, he'll be like, guys, funds are low, you need to give me money.
But prepare myself for what was inevitably going to happen. Because if I didn't, then it could have bit me and could have hurt a lot. But instead, literally, I've had zero negative impact from those two jerks. I'm good. And I basically used them to propel myself to a new level, which I needed to be. And,
fun fact, his YouTube audience hasn't grown at all in terms of his live streams, and his on-demand viewership has actually stayed stagnant or retracted. The most significant thing that happened was that he admitted to playing WWE champions and spending money on it, and that ticked off a lot of people because he was daily begging for grocery money while at the same time splurging on a gacha mobile game.
You know, they've made a pretty penny off of my back too, because of all the toxic stuff they do with me. So in reality, I think we kind of understand that even though we don't like each other, it's fine because we're both good. Like, they're fine doing what they're doing, making tons of money. I'm fine being me, doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, because you have diehard fools that have committed with you with so much money that they can't admit, hey, Phil is using us as an ATM constantly. We wasted all this time, all this money on him. And they can't accept that reality, so they dig down, anchor themselves to their dumb position, and keep giving you money because they don't want to admit that they wasted the last half decade plus of their lives on some guy that absolutely does not care about them and only uses them as a source of money. Yeah, they give him money to own the trolls, not understanding that the more money they give Phil, the more trolls will be active. If they really wanted to own the trolls, they would stop giving Phil money because then the trolls will have nothing to do. Phil will have to go away and then they'll have to find something else to do.
And I know they're going to keep covering me. I don't really give a because it doesn't affect me.
Translation, he really cares and he's butthurt about it.
Like, they did two they did two holiday specials about me. Nothing happened. I was perfectly fine. Like, why the f do I care? You know? Let them do what they want to do. I'll do what I want to do, and we'll all be happy in our own little corners of the internet, right?
Oh, he crashes out all the time about them. He is definitely affected.
But I get paid for their attendance, so it doesn't really bother me, except when normal people actually want to talk in that chat, it's almost impossible because they're always constantly spamming toxic nonsense. You're like, oh, I wish they would just shut up, you know, but they don't, and there's nothing I can really do about it. I'm not going to fully lock down and moderate that chat.
He's banned tens of thousands of accounts on Kick, and a lot of those bans come after he streams.
So guys, we're $36 to support. I appreciate those who have supported, but it ain't great right now, especially for momentum to open packs tonight. It sure would be great to open more than one pack tonight. So if you are watching and you enjoy the content, please support it tonight for TCG. This is hilarious. I gave a brief summary of my relation with Kino Casino because someone asked. This guy says, he had a 10-minute crash out on Kino Casino. No, you're a mouth-drooling idiot. You don't even know what a crash out is because you're so dumb. What a moron.
Yeah, 10 minutes is not a brief summary for this situation.
He talked about a topic he was specifically asked about. Crash out! Crash out! Yikes. The same dunce that probably repeats a meme 700 times to himself. Someone tipped $3 and says, why do they think they're the ones that snaked you? I don't know, because I knew all along that they were going to do that. Everyone, like, how can you say we snaked Phil when I was the one all along who knew it, planned for it, and everyone was literally telling me at every moment they were going to do that anyway, and I was like, I know.
He ignored everybody that said they were going to make a fool out of them because he thought he had friends for once. Probably the first friends he thought he had since he moved across the country.
They were the ones who basically were like, well, since you guys like Phil now, if we turn on him, you guys will be angry at us. So we're not going to do that, right?
What is Phil smoking here? Anybody that understood anything about the situation knew that the people that were coming to his streams from them were not enjoying Phil. They were antagonizing their hosts and demanding, get Phil off. We don't want to do any more Phil garbage. He really thinks he was popular. Yeah, Phil, if you were, that popularity would have continued after they roasted you, but it dwindled off after like 2-3 months before you finished collaborating with them in the first place.
But here's the truth. This is the truth about Kino Casino or any of these people who watch this drama content. People do not care if anything that these people say and do is truthful. They don't. The truth is, people watch them for entertainment and drama, even if it's a lie. Like, literally, if they did an entire stream that was a lie and not a single thing they said was true, no one would care.
Yeah, Phil, if that was the case, the lolcow live audience would be like thousands of times bigger than it actually is right now. Because that show is nothing but just fake drama.
Because the people that are there are just basically very slow, impressionable individuals, very gullible people.
The same absolutely applies to Phil's audience, but he refuses to admit it because he knows he's scamming them.
Only 28-year-old that has found themselves laid off from their jobs and in financial straits, but instead of sucking up his pride and taking a job and moving back in with his parents, he's decided to panhandle his fan base. The relationship that DSP has with the fans is now totally based on money, and I fail to see how such a situation can end any way but badly. Save your pennies for your personal rainy days ahead, and force Phil to be accountable for himself. Holy... This guy is so jealous of my popularity, and the fact that for 4 or 5 months now, yeah, I've been able to turn this into a business per se, and been able to support myself, that he is reporting me falsely to websites to try to get me banned and me over, so I have to stop doing this for a living. Wow, you are a head.
16 plus years later, not much has changed, huh?
Who just want a story. They want something to make fun of. That's it. They don't care if it's true or not. They don't care if there's any evidence of anything. They don't give I'd be willing to think they probably made up entire segments and stories or exaggerated insanely to the level of, you know, it's just gross speculation with no actual reason to believe anything they're saying. But their audience doesn't care because their audience is stupid. Their audience aren't truth-seeking individuals who want hard news stories that are hard-hitting and exposing people for being bad. All they want is something to make fun of.
Well, then you should be priority number 1 for their content then, because you're just a cottage industry of being a fool.
Because in truth, their viewers are the biggest loser. Their viewers are people who are very embarrassing individuals who probably have no lives, nothing to speak of for themselves. They're just miserable wretches. The only way that they can get any kind of personal feeling of achievement or the only way that they can get a good feeling is if they feel like they can bring down someone else, right? And say, oh, look, someone else is bad. Like, yeah, but who cares if someone else is bad if you're a turd?
I like how these qualities also apply to Phil. And yet Phil always makes this same argument. I didn't do anything bad because somebody else is doing a bad thing too. Yeah, Phil tries to make e-begging socially acceptable when it should be something that's discouraged.
Right? Oh no, someone who is high and mighty has fallen. Yes, but you're a no one and always will be. So who cares? Right? But that's it. They don't want to look in the mirror. That's the audience of Kino Casino. These aren't intelligent people. These aren't achievers. They're losers. That's who watches that style of content, you know? And certainly, that's the level of person who would throw a ton of money at those kind of creators. You know what I mean? Like, how dumb can you be to line these guys' pockets with money? They don't even do any work. They just sit there making fun of people all day. Zero effort.
Phil, you should stop talking. Don't give your fans ideas that you're not working either. You ain't putting any effort into it.
All right, guys, let's continue. We'll play for about another hour. We'll see how it goes. If we get to another milestone of $100 here, we will do a DSP pack rips video at the end of the stream. If not, then we're not. Okay, that'll be the end of the stream. But yeah, as I said, please, let's hit some milestones tonight. Let's get some momentum. Let's get to $100, and then let's work towards 150, and we'll open a few packs at the end of the night and get our next hit, okay? All right, here we go. Let's go.
Yeah, Phil, somebody that has to panhandle once every 5 to 15 minutes is not a successful streamer. You may be a successful panhandler, but you are not a successful streamer or a content creator. You're a lolcow. You are milked for laughs.
It was actually a well-supported stream, and I was happy for that, because you remember, Dark Souls 2, I really like, and I want to keep playing it, but we had a couple of streams where, man, support was rough. It's like, wow, why is support slowing down so much for Dark Souls 2 of all things? The game where it's very challenging. It's a classic. I've played a couple of times. People like it. You know, they've been asking me to do FromSoft stuff. So I was happy.
Wow, I thought success was meeting your goals, but you're out here talking how things are going so well, things are going better, yet you're still complaining about goals not being hit.
Then tonight, it was TCG Card Shop Sim. I got rid of one of my slow employees. I got a better employee, so they were doing stuff better, so we were making better progress faster.
Like how the helicopter company got rid of whatever you were doing years ago.
But here's the thing. We've seen everything, you know? So realistically, I'm predicting 1 to 2 more streams of TCG, and then it probably won't work as well.
He's played this game for like 30 hours sometimes. I guess it helps when you're drawing it out by just stalling by crashing out over random things to not really play the game.
Notably tonight, support was okay. Made about $100, so we did do 2 pack openings, but that's not great. TCG has fluctuated like this. Some nights we do insanely well.
When a whale shows up, otherwise support goes right down the drain.
And you have people contributing in droves for cards and TCG stuff, and then another night, it like tanks, right? It doesn't do so well. This is somewhere in the middle at least, so I'm pleased with that. But still, you know.
I'm not really pleased, and I'm going to complain about it.
We've been playing this over 20 hours. It may be that it's run its course. You know, we've been playing it for a month and a half.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is Rubest turning off the station. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to show Phil the power of edited content, and I will see you next time. Bye.